Welcome to As a Crow Flies Hiking. A long time ago, I did a review of a tarp and bivy setup that I have, and I still use that today. It's one of my favorite setups. But I've always wanted to have a little bit better coverage with my tarp on top of the bivy, and I think I have found that particular tarp to use with my bivy. It's by Glacier. It is the SkyAir ULT tarp, 8 ounces. It packs down super small. I'd like to take a look at it and show it to you, so let's go to camp and we'll take a look. Now that I've got the SkyAir ULT tarp set up, let me tell you some of the things that I really like about this, especially with my combination of my bivy that I'm going to put inside later. It's a poleless design. Essentially, I have my 2 trekking poles that are the structure of this tent. It is a sloping design, which aids in repelling water off of it. It also requires a good number of stakes, but they sent with the tarp 10 UL stakes. They are the groundhog stakes, and that creates a way to really pull out the structure and give you a lot of room inside. As you can see, I have a 25-inch wide pad inside with lots of room on either side to put my gear in it. And tonight it may be raining, so I'll probably bring all my gear inside. And then they have these guy lines out in the middle to pull out the structure and give you more internal room inside the tent slash tarp. So what about the room inside the tent? Well, you can tell by where I'm seated that I have plenty of room to my left, basically at arm's length, and to my right, another arm's length, especially up at the top. Now it does kind of get narrower at the bottom as it gets down to 30 inches, but because it is enclosed at the bottom, I don't have to worry about rain coming in. And if I really go down all the way to the bottom, I've got plenty, maybe 2 feet of coverage ahead of me. Great for a minimal shelter. Because this gives a overhang, and I have one pulled to the side just to show you what's inside, but you can see how it gives you an overhang to give you more rain resistance on the front of the tent. You can purchase the inner netting, and I'll show you what that looks like. Essentially, it has a floor, and it makes it a 2-wall tent because it has no-see-um mesh all around, and it attaches to the guy points, basically give you a bug-free tent. If you wanted to do it just like that I have it set up, where you have only the tarp at this moment, then you have a ultralight type of tent or tarp design because you are at 8 ounces. If you want to add the inner nest or the netting, then you can do that, but that'll add essentially up to about 1.5 pounds, but you're still well under 2 pounds for this setup. Now they do add the footprint, which is another price. I think that's $70, but I'll show you that. The footprint is another 10 or 15D material so that you can have a footprint and a tarp, and that could be your setup. So you could have it just to the tarp, just with the tarp and the footprint, or you could add the inner netting. But that is not where they end. They will add another attachment that makes this vestibule come all the way down to the ground. So if you want to have an additional vestibule that goes all the way and a complete setup of a fully enclosed tent, then you can do that as well. It's modular, so you can purchase whatever kit that you want. I simply wanted the tarp because this tarp is exactly what I need for my bivy. Now I'm also going to add my bivy to this and show you what it looks like. Now you can see that I have the Paria Breezy Mesh Bivy, and that is the original bivy that I've used for 4 or 5 years. And it is a great bivy because it has protection on the top and the bottom. And I've used it with just a normal 8x10 tarp, but with this I get a lot more protection, especially at the bottom where it is enclosed. And here I've got at least half of a vestibule that's going to cover it. And essentially all I have to do is just tighten it here and I create a lot of space for my head as I get in the bivy at night. It just really feels like you're connected to nature when you do this type of setup.
Well, I'm in the bivy under the tarp. The bivy fits perfectly under here. Good airflow, lots of room, got all my gear under the tarp. Working out good.
So what are the living spaces? Well, you have 90 inches from the bottom to the top. You have about 30 inches across the bottom, and anywhere from 60 to 72 inches, depending on how you want to set it up. If you want to get some ventilation and have air flowing through the bottom, as I did, I've raised it a little bit and had it a little higher, which gives me a little more sitting room inside. Or you can widen the tarp and make it down to about 72 inches up at the top. You can really protect yourself from rain or wind by guying out and staking out all different corners of this tent, including the 4 guy out points and stake out points along the sides. You can also see at the different stake points that you have a reinforced fabric here. I think it's 30D, so you don't have to worry about this tarp ripping with this material, and really nice seamed points along the tarp. It has a reinforcement here because there is a lot of pressure put on this guy out point. And then you have these small clips that you can use to tension it and make it even tighter and tension out whatever tautness you need to keep the structure of the tent. What about the fabric? Well, this is a 10D ripstock silicone coated tarp. Ultralight. It is very thin, but I feel like based on all the reinforcements of the guidelines and the 30D reinforcements here at all the crucial points that will take on most of the pressure, that this will last a long time. I love how ultralight it is. This is essentially the lightest setup that I have. What about the company? StoneGlacier.com is the website. I was looking at their website and all the different apparel and tents and gear and backpack and sleeping bags that they have. For backpacking, this type of tarp is essential when I want to go ultralight. I want to be as light as possible and do as many miles as I can and not have to worry about weight on my back. I don't know what your preference is, but I always love to hear from your comments below. So please comment. Do you like a tarp and bivy setup? Would you rather just have a fully enclosed tent, or do you hammock camp? Hope you like this episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking and the SkyAir ULT tarp/tent, the modular kit that you can purchase different items from StoneGlacier.com. Check them out. They have some great products, and I will see you on the next adventure of As the Crow Flies Hiking.